Went into the stewards for the first 5 minutes. I didn't say a word because they were only talking to Max, and he was already angry and swearing at the stewards. And then when they asked for my opinion, I told them exactly the facts. I was following my delta time. We all have this lap time we have to follow. They also say if you're driving slow, you need to move off the line. And I wasn't trying to get Max a penalty. I was, at this point in qualifying, I was in first position. You know, Max, I don't even think Max was in second position at this point. I was just trying to prepare my lap. He was 20 seconds too slow on his lap. He was parked in the middle. And I didn't argue with the stewards. But Max was very angry that I didn't support him because he was expecting me to say, no problem, you know, what Max did was okay. And it wasn't crazy dangerous. And was the penalty harsh? Maybe it was a little bit harsh, but these are the rules. We all have the rules and we all have to follow it. I would love to go 20 seconds slower on my preparation lap to get my tyres ready, but I didn't.
Clearly you have different views on this. Did you sit down with each other and spoken about it with each other, just in private, look each other in the eye and talk about it?
Yeah, I went to speak with him on Sunday morning at the drivers' parade. Was myself, Max, Checo and Carlos. We almost laughed about it, but I could see in his eyes that he was angry, and the words that he said, he meant it. And for me, that was very surprising. You know, I haven't got him disqualified. It almost feels like he expects a double standard, you know, and if it's not going his way, then there's no way. And that's not how the sport works. So I was, as I said, I've known Max for 12 years. I've respected him all of this time, but now I've lost respect for him because we're all fighting on track and it's never personal. Now he's made it personal, and someone needs to stand up to a bully like this. And so far, people have let him get away with murder. It's pretty clear. We all have to, on your out lap, you all have to follow a certain lap time because the stewards don't want you trundling around too slow when you've got a car driving at 200 miles an hour. He was in breach of that. I was following to the letter of the law. I wasn't trying to get him a penalty, but that's just how things transpired. And at the end of the day, I was on pole position at that time of the session. He went on to pole position. But it's racing. All of this is racing. But he's felt the need to take it personal. I have no idea why he's done that. And he cannot deal with adversity. Whenever anything is not going his way, he lashes out with unnecessary anger and borderline violence. You know, I've seen it in Brazil in the past with Ocon. You saw it in 21 with Lewis, and then Mexico with Lando. First race of the year in Budapest when he didn't have the most dominant car, crashes into Lewis, slamming his whole team. That is not a guy who I respect. And, you know, I wish he would be a better role model. I find his comments pretty ironic when he comes out and says, I'm going to purposefully crash into you. I'm going to put you on your fucking head in the wall. For me, that is unacceptable. And he's gone beyond the line here, and I'm not going to accept it. So somebody's got to stand up to a guy like this before it gets out of control. I am disappointed it's come to this because I've known Max for 12 years. I know what he's like. And I never had any intention of ever throwing him under the bus, ever. But then to come out and, you know, question my integrity after the things he said to me the night before, I'm not going to accept. You know, the guy thinks he can get away with anything and that he's above the law. People have made it easy for him the last couple of years. Lewis was the only guy recently to fight him hard and fairly. And in my view, in 21, with how Lewis raced him, you know, that's the gold standard. You race hard, you race aggressive, but Lewis never went beyond the line. Never, ever. And, you know, that is the driver and world champion I aspire to. I'm just putting the truth out there because he's slamming me in the media, saying I'm this two-faced whatever, saying that I'm lying to the stewards. I'm not just going to sit here and let him get away with everything that he said and slamming me like that. So I've said my bit now. It's not going to change at all how I race, how I go into this race weekend. I'm excited to be back in Abu Dhabi for the last race of the season. For me, as soon as I walk out of here, this is sort of case closed and I move on. But yeah, it's got a little bit too much now. He doesn't need to gain my respect. He doesn't need to gain anybody's respect. And at the end of the day, what we're doing, we're professionals. We fight on the track, and there was a time when it felt like everybody had a certain amount of respect for one another. But coming out and taking things personal, when ultimately there's absolutely no reason for it. It's qualifying. It's a one-place grid penalty. And we're not talking like I've crashed into him on the last race at the World Championship and he's lost the World Championship, of which I maybe would kind of understand him being so angry, but coming out and saying you're going to put a driver on his effing head in the wall, is too much. Thanks for